Hey guys, it's Cece, and today I'm here to share with you some monthly recommendations. Monthly Recommendations is a group that was created by Trina from Between Chapters and Kayla Rain from the channel Kayla Rain, and I will leave the link to the Goodreads channel down below so you can go and check it out. And this month's theme is friendship, so I'm going to be recommending books to you that are based around great friends, just have a great theme of friendship overall. So let's just jump right in and get started because I have some great books to recommend to you today. I decided to split this video into two parts. The first part is going to be just books that have really great best friend relationships, and the second part is going to be like friend groups, or big groups of people who are all really good friends with each other. So we're just going to get started on with best friend relationships. And the first book that I'm going to be recommending today is Book of 1,000 Days by Shannon Hale. To be honest, if you're looking for really great books with incredibly well-written friendships, especially female friendships, Shannon Hale is a great way to go. She writes female characters that are fantastic, and I just overall love all of them. Book of 1,000 Days follows a girl named Dashner, and she is a maid for someone named Lady Sarin. And after Lady Sarin refuses to marry someone, the two of them are locked in a tower for 7 years as punishment, and they have to survive together. There's also some more dangerous stuff that starts to happen outside the tower. It's stressful, and at first they don't really get along, but the friendship that develops between these two female characters is so fantastic, and it is one of those things that just develops more and more fully as the book goes on, and by the end I just absolutely adore their relationship overall. Dashti's a really complex female character, and I always appreciate that, but I just appreciate the detail that went into creating these two characters that work so well together and who have such a great relationship. And like I said, any books that you want great female friendships, you definitely have to go with Shannon Hale, but this is the first book I read by her, and it definitely introduced me to her writing style and the great friendships that she writes. And the other book that I want to recommend that features a great best friend relationship is one that I just read recently, and that is South of Sunshine by Dana Elmendorf. This is a fantastic YA contemporary that just came out in April, and it features a really, really wonderful best friend relationship. It takes place in a small town in Tennessee. It features a lesbian lead character as she struggles to deal with the fact that she is a lesbian in a small town and what that all means for her. But the standout relationship in this book, besides the romance, which is also fantastic, is the lead character Casey's relationship with her best friend Van. Van is also gay, and they just have such great conversations about the way that they have both learned to deal with their respective identities in a place that neither of them feel very welcomed. They also have a relationship that feels really realistic. There are arguments and disagreements that don't feel forced. I just really appreciate that the author knew that they were each going through such a hard time and reflected that in their relationship with one another. What's interesting is that the main character in the book, she actually says her best friend is a girl named Sarah Beth, but I feel like their relationship gets off the rails so quickly you don't really get a chance to explore that relationship. Even though Casey doesn't actually refer to Van as her best friend for the duration of this book, I just think it's a much stronger relationship, and I really, really enjoyed reading about it. Okay, now we are going to be moving on to talking about great big groups of friends, and the first book that I want to bring up is The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Lee-Stewart. This is the first book in a middle grade series. I've read the first two. I think you really only need to read the first one. I don't know that it needs to be a series. But this middle grade book basically follows 4 different kids. It begins when there is an advertisement in the newspaper. It's very strange about looking for gifted children with the ability to solve problems. And there wind up being these 4 fantastic characters who pass all of the tests and become a part of the Mysterious Benedict Society, and together they have to work together and solve mysteries, and it's just a fantastically fun book in general. It's a middle grade book, so there's obviously not a lot of focus on romance. It can just be about the 4 people and how great of friends they are and how they work together, and it's just a book that greatly influenced me as a child, and I just really like that their friendship is the focus of how they are able to solve these mysteries and how they are able to work together to figure things out. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to include the next one because I think it's another really great example of a group of friends, but I think it's incredibly similar in a lot of ways to the Mysterious Benedict Society, just because I think it was a type of book I really enjoyed reading when I was younger. So if you really want to read both of these, I wouldn't recommend reading them back to back because I think that they have a very similar premise at the beginning, just as a warning. But the other book that I wanted to talk about was The 13th Reality by James Dashner. It's the whole series, and the first book is called The Journal of Curious Letters. There are 4 books overall in this series, and it is a middle grade series that is sci-fi and fantasy. It follows our lead character, Tick, and one day he receives this letter in the mail, and it's telling him that he's going to, at certain dates, receive other clues, and he has to solve this mystery. But basically, this is all a world in which there are multiple realities. To be precise, the realities that you can kind of actually travel to within this world, there are 13 of them, but as it turns out, throughout the book there is more than one person solving these clues, and Tick begins to meet other people, especially Paul and Sophia, and the 3 of them become really, really great friends over the course of all 4 books. There are other really great people that are introduced also along the way, who become great members of this sort of collective family, which I love the trope, where there's a motley group of people who are friends and sort of become a family for one another. It's my favorite. So I'm sure you can see a lot of the similarities between this and the Mysterious Benedict Society, but this is just a really fun series with a lot of these sci-fi and fantasy elements. There are some really fantastic villains, honestly, who are very well developed, but overall it is very focused on Tick and Paul and Sophia in the first book, and getting to know each other and solving these mysteries, and it's just a fantastic series overall. Next, I want to recommend a book called Zeros. This is by Scott Westerfeld, Margo Lannagan, and Deborah Biancotti, and it came out last year. It is about a group of 6 superpowered teenagers, basically, and they were at one point working together to become this great team of superheroes, but they all got in some kind of disagreement, and it has led to them being all spread out, and none of them really get along anymore. And this is the book where they kind of come back together and start forming this group again to become a great superhero group. This was a super surprising book for me last year. I was really hoping it would be great, and then it really, really impressed me. It has a great collection of characters that are super interesting and create a very weird group dynamic, because some of them are friends and some of them it seems like there's stuff going on. And honestly, I'm just hoping that this group of friends develops more as the series goes on, because I know this was the first book in a series, and I think it just got started in a great direction for creating a very complex group of relationships, friendship-wise, I guess, if that makes any sense at all. Next, I want to recommend another YA contemporary, and this one is The Bermudez Triangle by Maureen Johnson. This was one of my absolute favorite books of last year, so I was definitely wanting to recommend it for this theme. It follows a group of 3 friends who were named the Bermudez Triangle because they are so close friends, and then the summer before senior year, one of them goes to this college prep kind of camp, and so she's gone all summer, and when she returns she finds out that the other 2 friends have gotten in a relationship. And so it's just about the 3 girls kind of navigating their new dynamic now that 2 of them are involved, and how that changes things, and how that's made one of them feel a lot more left out than she used to. And overall it's just kind of about growing up and how your friends can help you and how you really need other people to talk to. It's just a fantastic YA contemporary about sexuality and friendship, and I highly recommend it. And there's just a great little group of friends, and it was so sad to see them kind of break apart near the beginning a little, but overall their friendship just developed in a really fantastic way, and I really love this book. And the final thing that I'm going to recommend is actually a comic series, and it's not Lumberjanes because I've recommended that 100 times, but to be honest with you, Lumberjanes would be perfect for this. Go read Lumberjanes. But the comic series I'm actually going to recommend instead is Rat Queens, and this is by Upchurc and Kurtis J. Wiebe. This is just a really kind of weird and funny fantasy comic series about these 4 girls who are part of an adventuring company, and they kill monsters for hire. It's this kind of quirky fantasy setting. It's really funny and gory, and the 4 main girls are funny and fantastic, and I really love them. Overall, I love the way they get along because they don't always get along at all, and they're also drastically different as people. So because I can't recommend Lumberjanes because I've recommended it 100 times, I definitely also say that Rat Queens just has a great friendship dynamic, and I highly recommend it as well. Okay guys, there you go. Those are my recommendations for books/comics that are centered on friendship. I hope that you've enjoyed watching. If there is a series that you think has a great example of friendship, please let me know down below. Obviously, the friendship that, knocks them all down, the best one ever is the Golden Trio, but Do I really need to recommend Harry Potter to you? Anyway, leave me your favorite books that have a great friendship down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!